What if much of what we know about human history is merely the tip of an immense, sprawling iceberg with countless stories and achievements hidden beneath the surface? Imagine a world where entire civilizations, teeming with brilliant minds and awe-inspiring innovations, have been quietly relegated to the shadows of our textbooks. Today, we embark on an extraordinary journey to uncover 28 such civilizations, cultures that, despite their profound and undeniable impact, remain largely overlooked in conventional historical narratives. This isn't just about listing forgotten names. It's about peeling back layers of time to reveal the true architects of so much that we consider modern and groundbreaking. Prepare to have your perceptions challenged and your understanding of human ingenuity vastly expanded. We often think of history as a neatly organized timeline, a progression from one great empire to the next. But this perspective does a great disservice to the incredible tapestry of human experience. The civilizations we're about to explore were not footnotes. They were vibrant centers of innovation, philosophical breakthroughs, and societal structures that reverberate even in our modern world, often in ways we don't recognize. Picture astonishing feats of engineering that predated their famous counterparts by centuries, advanced social systems that prioritized communal well-being, and artistic expressions that capture the very essence of human spirit. These hidden histories hold powerful lessons about resilience, adaptation, and the diverse paths humanity has taken to build thriving societies, sometimes under the most challenging conditions imaginable. Each one reshapes our understanding of progress, urging us to look beyond Eurocentric or mainstream narratives and acknowledge the global scope of human achievement. This video isn't just a historical survey, it's an invitation to see history through a refreshingly new lens, one that celebrates the vast and often untold breadth of human ingenuity and resilience. We'll delve into their ingenious contributions, from complex urban planning and sophisticated metallurgy to pioneering agricultural techniques and visionary artistic traditions. As we uncover these stories, you might find yourself asking, why haven't I heard of this before? How could such influential cultures be so overlooked? And what other incredible secrets does our past still hold? This journey will profoundly deepen your appreciation for the interconnectedness of our shared past, offering a richer, more nuanced understanding of where we came from and perhaps where we are headed. Get ready to be amazed, to question what you thought you knew, and to discover the untold sagas of these truly underrated civilizations that changed everything. Let's dive right into our first incredibly underrated civilization, the Indus Valley Civilization. Picture this, a sprawling urban landscape, not just one city, but a network of meticulously planned settlements stretching across what is now modern-day India and Pakistan. This was a civilization that flourished over 4,000 years ago, home to millions of people, a true marvel of ancient engineering and societal organization. What often surprises people most about the Indus Valley is its incredible foresight in urban planning. Their cities, like Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa, weren't haphazard collections of dwellings. Instead, they featured precise street grids, standardized brick sizes, and an astonishing level of infrastructure. Imagine sophisticated drainage systems and even individual bathrooms in homes, an emphasis on public hygiene and communal spaces that was practically unheard of in most parts of the world until millennia later. The famous Great Bath of Mohenjo-Daro, a large, elaborate public bathing area, speaks to a society that valued ritual purity or communal gathering in ways that still intrigue archaeologists today. It suggests a deeply organized system, far beyond what we typically associate with civilizations of that era. What makes the Indus Valley civilization even more compelling, and perhaps why it remains so enigmatic, is its apparent peaceful nature. Unlike many of its contemporaries, particularly in the Near East and Egypt, there's a striking lack of evidence for widespread warfare. We don't see monumental battle scenes depicted on their pottery, nor do we find vast caches of weaponry in their archaeological sites. This absence of overt military dominance makes us pause and wonder, how did they maintain such remarkable social harmony and order across such a vast territory without the visible apparatus of a powerful military? It challenges our modern assumptions that large, complex societies inherently require significant armed forces to control their populations or defend their borders. Their governance structures must have been incredibly effective, relying perhaps on consensus, trade, or a shared religious or cultural identity to bind their diverse communities together. This peaceful disposition, combined with their advanced urbanism and a mysterious, still undeciphered writing system, leaves us with more questions than answers. Their script, found on seals and other artifacts, holds the key to unlocking their stories, their beliefs, and their daily lives, but for now, it remains a tantalizing puzzle. Despite this mystery, the sheer scale of their achievements, from their sophisticated water management to their extensive trade networks that connected them with Mesopotamia and Persia, demonstrates a civilization that was not only innovative but also remarkably resilient. Their unique trajectory, seemingly devoid of the widespread conflicts that marked so many other ancient empires, invites us to reconsider what true advancement looked like in the ancient world and reminds us that there were many paths to building a thriving, complex society. Moving thousands of miles away, we uncover another truly remarkable and often overlooked society, the Norte Chico civilization. Imagine this, in the dry coastal valleys of what is now Peru, over 5,000 years ago, before even the Great Pyramids of Egypt were built, a complex society was already flourishing. Their most famous city, Cairo, is a testament to their incredible ambition, featuring monumental stepped pyramids and elaborate circular plazas, all built millennia before the Olmecs, who are often considered the mother culture of Mesoamerica. This makes Cairo not just an ancient city, but arguably the oldest known urban center in the Americas, pushing back our understanding of when and how urban life first developed in this part of the world. What truly sets the Norte Chico apart and makes them so compelling is the unique path they took to becoming a complex civilization. Unlike nearly every other major ancient society we've studied, the Norte Chico people seem to thrive without developing pottery for everyday use or engaging in widespread warfare. This is a profound contrast to many of their contemporaries who relied on ceramic technologies for storage and cooking, or who built powerful militaries to expand their territories. Instead, the Norte Chico culture appears to have based its prosperity and social cohesion on sophisticated cotton textiles, which they cultivated extensively. These textiles weren't just for clothing, they were likely used for fishing nets, bags, and might have even served as a form of valuable currency or trade good. Their reliance on marine resources, particularly anchovies and sardines, harvested from the rich Pacific Ocean, formed the backbone of their economy. They traded these protein-rich resources with communities in the inland agricultural valleys for cotton and other produce, creating a vibrant exchange network that fostered peace and cooperation rather than conflict. This distinct developmental trajectory compels us to re-evaluate our traditional notions of what constitutes advancement in ancient societies. We often associate progress with the invention of certain technologies, like metallurgy or pottery, or with the rise of powerful militaristic states. However, the Norte Chico demonstrate that there were entirely different, equally successful ways for complex societies to emerge and sustain themselves. Their focus on maritime life and textiles, the absence of extensive warfare, and their impressive monumental architecture built without advanced tools open up new questions about the diverse paths humanity has taken on its journey towards civilization. How did their unique relationship with the ocean shape their culture, their beliefs, and their social structures? And what can their peaceful, trade-driven model teach us about alternative forms of societal organization that prioritize cooperation over conquest? Their story is a powerful reminder that the tapestry of human history is far richer and more varied than many conventional narratives suggest. Moving thousands of miles east into the Horn of Africa, we encounter our next truly underrated civilization, the magnificent kingdom of Axum. Nestled in present-day Ethiopia and Eritrea, Axum rose to prominence as a powerful trading empire that flourished from the 1st to the 7th centuries of the Common Era. Its strategic location was absolutely key, placing it squarely at the crossroads of vital trade routes connecting Africa, Arabia, and India. This wasn't merely a regional power. Axum was a global player, a dynamic hub where goods, ideas, and cultures intricately intertwined. Their influence stretched far beyond their immediate borders, shaping the economic and political landscape of a vast region. One of Axum's most striking achievements was its economic sophistication. They were one of the very few ancient civilizations to mint their own coins, complete with inscriptions in Ge'ez, Greek, and Sabine. These coins, often made of gold, silver, and bronze, weren't just for local transactions. They were widely accepted in international trade, a testament to Axum's economic prowess and stability. Think about that for a moment. Axum's currency carried weight across continents, allowing them to participate in a sophisticated global economy long before many European powers even began to dream of such financial systems. This ability to control their own monetary system speaks volumes about their autonomy and their central role in the ancient world's commercial networks. Beyond their economic might, Axum was also a center of monumental architecture and profound religious transformation. Their colossal stelae, towering stone obelisks carved with incredible precision, marked the tombs of their rulers and served as powerful symbols of their imperial grandeur. These massive structures, some standing over 100 feet tall, were engineering marvels of their time, requiring immense skill and organization to quarry, transport, and erect. But perhaps even more remarkably, Axum holds the distinction of being one of the first empires in the world to officially adopt Christianity, doing so in the 4th century CE under King Azana. This wasn't a gradual conversion. It was a deliberate state decision that profoundly shaped the kingdom's identity and subsequent history. This early embrace of Christianity set Axum apart from many of its neighbors and forged lasting ties with the wider Christian world. Despite its undeniable global significance, its economic power, its architectural brilliance, and its pioneering adoption of a world religion, Axum often takes a backseat in conventional historical accounts, overshadowed by empires like Rome or Persia. This prompts a crucial question. Why does a civilization that controlled such vital trade routes, minted its own international currency, and embraced a major global religion so early, remain largely unrecognized today? Perhaps it's because its distinct African identity doesn't fit neatly into the Eurocentric narratives that have historically dominated the study of antiquity. Axum's story challenges preconceived notions of where and when powerful, sophisticated civilizations emerged, demonstrating that Africa was not merely a recipient of outside influences, but a vibrant center of innovation and cultural exchange in its own right. The unique blend of indigenous African culture with influences from the Near East and the Mediterranean gave Axum its distinctive character, contributing a rich tapestry of art, philosophy, and governance that warrants far more widespread recognition. Their enduring legacy reveals how a distinct African worldview shaped their contributions to areas like trade, diplomacy, and religious development. Moving from the trade routes of Axum, we now journey northeast to the Korean peninsula, where the magnificent Silla kingdom emerged as another profoundly underrated civilization. For nearly a millennium, from 57 before Common Era to 935 Common Era, Silla not only unified much of the Korean peninsula, but also fostered an unparalleled golden age of art, science, and profound Buddhist philosophy. Imagine a kingdom that maintained its independence and cultural distinctiveness for such an extraordinary duration, especially given its powerful neighbors. This longevity alone speaks volumes about its societal cohesion and strategic brilliance. Their capital city, Gyeongju, was truly a cosmopolitan hub, a vibrant center of innovation and learning that would rival any major city of its time. Here, advanced astronomers mapped the heavens, predicting celestial events with remarkable accuracy. Skilled artisans produced intricate gold craftsmanship, creating delicate crowns, ornate jewelry, and sacred Buddhist relics that shimmered with an otherworldly beauty, often adorned with jade and pearls. Beyond aesthetics, Gyeongju was a beacon of profound religious scholarship, deeply engaged with the intricate tenets of Buddhist philosophy. This intellectual and artistic flourishing wasn't accidental. It was a deliberate cultivation of knowledge and beauty that defined the Silla era. What truly set Silla apart and contributed to its astonishing resilience was its innovative bureaucracy and a profound emphasis on education. Unlike many kingdoms that relied solely on hereditary power, Silla developed a sophisticated administrative system, the bone rank system, which, while strict, provided a framework for talented individuals to contribute to governance. Their commitment to education was also remarkable, laying foundational principles for later Korean states. This institutionalized pursuit of knowledge and effective governance allowed Silla to navigate complex political landscapes and adapt to changing times, ensuring stability and progress over centuries. It's a powerful example of how intellectual and administrative frameworks can underpin long-term national success. Despite its unique achievements and long-standing influence, Silla's story is often unfortunately overshadowed by its more famous East Asian neighbors, such as Imperial China or emerging Japan. This obscurity is perplexing, especially when considering its deep cultural roots and exceptional diplomatic prowess. Silla managed to maintain its independence through periods of intense regional conflict, skillfully balancing alliances and asserting its unique identity. This wasn't merely military strength, it was a sophisticated blend of cultural magnetism which drew in foreign scholars and ideas and astute political maneuvering. The lessons offered by Silla's unique blend of military might and cultural soft power are incredibly relevant even today, demonstrating how a civilization can sustain itself, not just through conquest, but through the cultivation of a rich, appealing culture and strategic diplomacy. It makes us wonder what other aspects of their political and social structure allowed for such profound endurance. From the vibrant courts of Silla, we now shift our gaze westward, across the vast expanse of the Eurasian steppes, to uncover another truly underrated civilization, the Göktürks. Spanning from the 6th to the 8th centuries Common Era, the Göktürks forged a formidable nomadic empire that not only profoundly influenced the Silk Road, but also became instrumental in shaping the very development of Turkic identity. Imagine a people whose life was intrinsically linked to the horse, mastering equestrian skills to such an extent that they could administer and defend an empire stretching thousands of miles. They were more than just fierce warriors. They were astute statesmen, capable of sophisticated diplomacy and governance on a monumental scale. One of their most enduring contributions, often overlooked, was the creation of one of the earliest Turkic alphabets, the Orkhon script. This wasn't merely a writing system. It was a powerful tool for cultural preservation and communication, allowing them to record their history, laws, and literature, providing invaluable insights into their society and beliefs. The Göktürk Empire served as a crucial bridge between East and West, facilitating an incredible flow of goods, ideas, and technologies along the Silk Road. As nomadic rulers, they controlled key segments of these ancient trade routes, often ensuring their safety and regulating commerce. This wasn't just about economic gain. It was about cultural exchange on a grand scale. Chinese silks flowed westward, European crafts and ideas moved eastward, all under the watchful eye of the Göktürks. Think about the sheer logistical challenge of maintaining order and collecting tribute across such a diverse and expansive territory that included various ethnic groups and tribal confederations. Their highly mobile society, centered around their unparalleled cavalry, allowed for rapid communication and deployment of forces, ensuring swift responses to any localized rebellions or external threats. This organizational prowess, combined with a pragmatic approach to governance that often incorporated local customs, was key to their long-term success. Their equestrian culture wasn't just a means of transport. It was the foundation of their military might and the engine of their rapid expansion. The Göktürk warrior on horseback was a force to be reckoned with, capable of lightning-fast maneuvers, long-distance campaigns, and coordinated attacks that often overwhelmed more static, settled armies. This mastery of the horse also profoundly influenced their communication networks, allowing messages and orders to traverse their vast empire with remarkable speed, which was critical for maintaining centralized control. Consider how such a decentralized yet interconnected network of tribes, bound by a shared language and military strategy, managed to exert such sustained influence over diverse populations. Their impact on the geopolitical landscape of Central Asia was immense, laying the groundwork for many later Turkic states and shaping the region for centuries to come. It's compelling to reflect on how a mobile empire, often perceived as less advanced than sedentary civilizations, could achieve such complex statecraft and cultural diffusion, leaving a legacy that resonates to this day. Moving further south from the vast landscapes controlled by the Göktürks, our journey now brings us to the ancient Nile River Valley, where another truly underrated power flourished, the Kingdom of Kush. Located directly south of Egypt, in what is present-day Sudan, this ancient Nubian civilization was far from a mere shadow of its famous neighbor. For nearly 3 millennia, from approximately 2500 BC to 300 CE, Kush evolved into a formidable power, one that not only rivaled but also, at times, conquered Egypt, even ruling it as the influential 25th dynasty. This period of Kushite rule over Egypt represents a fascinating reversal of power dynamics often overlooked in conventional history books, showcasing a vibrant African civilization taking center stage in the ancient world. The Kushites were innovators in their own right, developing a unique writing system known as maritime, distinct from Egyptian hieroglyphs, which allowed them to record their own history, beliefs, and administrative details. While much of the Meroitic script still remains undeciphered, it stands as a testament to their independent intellectual and cultural development. Beyond their linguistic achievements, Kush boasts an architectural legacy that defies common knowledge. they built hundreds of pyramids, indeed more pyramids than Egypt itself. While smaller and steeper than their Egyptian counterparts, these structures served as burial sites for their kings and queens, reflecting a deep spiritual connection and a distinctive architectural style that evolved independently. These countless pyramids scattered across the Nubian desert are a powerful visual reminder of a civilization with immense resources, architectural skill, and a profound reverence for its rulers. Furthermore, Kush was a pioneering force in ancient metallurgy, establishing a vibrant iron industry that was crucial for both internal development and regional trade. Their mastery of ironworking, particularly in the city of Meroe, made them a significant supplier of iron tools and weapons, fundamentally impacting the technological landscape of ancient Africa. This advanced metallurgical knowledge afforded them a powerful economic advantage and contributed significantly to their military capabilities, helping them maintain their independence and even exert influence over their neighbors. Their ability to forge and utilize iron on such a large scale speaks to a sophisticated understanding of resources and a highly organized labor system. Despite constant pressure from powerful empires like Egypt and later Rome, the Kingdom of Kush consistently demonstrated remarkable resilience and an enduring commitment to its own cultural identity. Their independence, maintained through centuries of strategic alliances, economic prowess, and occasional military confrontation, speaks volumes about their internal strength and strategic acumen. It's truly astonishing to consider why their immense architectural achievements, their pioneering role in iron metallurgy, and their profound cultural heritage are not as widely celebrated or even acknowledged in the broader narrative of ancient history. Perhaps it's because their story challenges the Eurocentric views that sometimes dominate historical accounts, or because their legacy is largely found in a region often underserved by modern archaeological and historical research. Understanding how their strategic position along the Nile, controlling vital trade routes, impacted their enduring strength and allowed them to flourish for so long offers a crucial perspective on the diverse trajectories of historical power. Moving thousands of miles west, high in the Bolivian Andes, near the vast, shimmering expanse of Lake Titicaca, we encounter another truly remarkable yet often overlooked civilization, the Tiwanaku Empire. From around 500 to 1000 CE, long before the rise of the more famous Inca, the Tiwanaku people forged a powerful and technologically advanced society that left an indelible mark on the Andean landscape. Imagine a civilization flourishing at an altitude of over 12,000 feet, an environment that would challenge even modern engineers. They were, without a doubt, master stonemasons. Their legacy includes massive, precisely cut megalithic structures like the iconic Gateway of the Sun, carved from a single block of andesite. What makes these feats even more astounding is that they accomplished them without the use of metal tools, relying instead on techniques involving stone hammers and abrasive sands. This level of precision not only showcases incredible engineering prowess, but also strongly suggests a deep understanding of astronomy and celestial alignments, as many of these structures appear to be oriented with astronomical events. Their ability to move and shape such enormous stones, some weighing hundreds of tons, remains a subject of ongoing wonder and study, forcing us to re-evaluate what was truly possible for ancient peoples. Beyond their monumental architecture, the Tiwanaku developed sophisticated agricultural techniques that allowed them to feed massive populations in what seemed like an impossibly harsh environment. Their most famous innovation was the raised field system known locally as suka collas. These were elevated planting platforms surrounded by water-filled canals that absorbed solar radiation by day and radiated heat by night, protecting crops from freezing temperatures. This ingenious method also provided irrigation and improved soil fertility, showcasing a remarkable ingenuity in resource management and a profound understanding of their unique ecosystem. This agricultural mastery was foundational to their societal development, allowing for surplus food production that supported specialized labor, urban centers, and a complex social hierarchy. It stands as a testament to human adaptability and the power of innovative engineering when faced with environmental challenges. Yet, despite such advanced societal and technological achievements, the decline of the Tiwanaku civilization remains somewhat enigmatic. Around 1000 CE, their power waned, and their magnificent cities were gradually abandoned, leaving behind only magnificent ruins that hint at their former glory. How could a civilization with such a sophisticated grasp of engineering, agriculture, and urban planning seemingly vanish? Various theories attempt to explain their end, including prolonged droughts, climate change, or even internal social unrest. Understanding the ecological factors that may have contributed to their eventual demise, such as shifts in rainfall patterns or glacial melt, offers crucial insights into the fragility of even the most robust ancient societies when faced with environmental pressures. The mystery of their decline prompts us to consider the complex interplay between human endeavor and natural forces, reminding us that even the greatest civilizations are not immune to the relentless march of geological and climatic change. Moving thousands of miles west, our next journey takes us to the vibrant heart of Southeast Asia to explore the Kingdom of Funan. Primarily located in present-day Cambodia and Vietnam, Funan flourished from the 1st to the 7th centuries of the Common Era, establishing itself as a powerful maritime trading state. Imagine a sprawling network of ports strategically positioned to connect the burgeoning economies of India and China, acting as a crucial intermediary for goods, ideas, and cultures. This was Funan's world, a world shaped by the tides and winds of ancient commerce. One of Funan's most significant, yet often understated, contributions was its role as a cultural bridge. It's widely credited with introducing Indian religious and political concepts to the region, laying the foundational principles for later, more famous empires like Angkor. This wasn't just a passive reception. Funan actively integrated these influences, adapting them to its own unique context. Think of the intricate Hindu and Buddhist traditions that would later define much of Southeast Asian history. Many of these roots can be traced directly back to Funan's early embrace and dissemination of these ideas. This rich exchange wasn't limited to religion. It also encompassed legal systems, administrative structures, and artistic styles, creating a powerful syncretic culture that would reverberate for centuries. Funan's strategic location at the crossroads of ancient maritime trade routes allowed it to accumulate immense wealth. This wasn't just about luxury goods. It was about controlling the flow of vital resources and commodities across vast distances. Its ports were bustling hubs where merchants from disparate lands met, exchanged goods, and shared knowledge. This economic prosperity fostered a remarkable level of cultural diversity, making Funan a true melting pot where various peoples and traditions converged. Yet, despite its pivotal role in regional history and its clear impact on the civilizations that followed, Funan's narrative is often overshadowed by its successors, leading us to question why such a foundational early state receives less attention in the mainstream historical discourse. Perhaps one of the most compelling aspects of Funan's dominance was its sophisticated naval power. Control over these vital trade routes wasn't merely a matter of geography. It required the ability to navigate, defend, and project influence across vast stretches of ocean. Their ships were not simply vessels for trade but instruments of state power, ensuring safe passage for goods and asserting sovereignty over key maritime arteries. This naval prowess was the true engine of their regional dominance, allowing them to exert economic and political influence far beyond their territorial borders. Understanding how this early kingdom managed to build and maintain such an effective maritime presence in an era when sea travel was fraught with peril offers crucial insights into their technological capabilities and organizational genius. Their story compels us to look beyond the more commonly recognized land-based empires and appreciate the profound impact of those who mastered the seas. Moving thousands of miles west, our next journey takes us to the arid coastal plains of southern Peru, where the Nazca culture flourished from 100 to 800 Common Era. The Nazca are perhaps most renowned for their monumental geoglyphs, those enigmatic Nazca lines, which are enormous figures etched into the desert floor, visible only from above. Imagine vast drawings of hummingbirds, spiders, monkeys, and even human figures, stretching for hundreds of feet across the landscape, all meticulously created without the benefit of aerial perspective. These lines have puzzled archaeologists and historians for decades, sparking theories ranging from astronomical calendars to landing strips for alien visitors. However, exploring the deeper cosmological or practical meanings behind these vast desert markings reveals a profound connection between the Nazca people and their environment, suggesting they were not merely decorative but held significant ceremonial or ritualistic importance, possibly related to water, fertility, or communicating with deities. But the Nazca's achievements extended far beyond these mysterious artworks. They were also masters of ceramics, producing intricate polychrome pottery that stands as a testament to their artistic brilliance. These vessels were not just functional items, they were canvases for their worldview, often depicting mythical creatures, ritual scenes, and everyday life with a striking level of detail and vibrant colors. The precision and artistry evident in their pottery suggest a highly skilled artisan class and a society that deeply valued aesthetic expression. Each piece tells a story, offering us invaluable insights into their beliefs, social structures, and daily practices, painting a picture of a culture rich in symbolism and artistic innovation. Perhaps even more impressive than their art, given their challenging environment, was their engineering prowess. The Nazca developed impressive underground aqueducts, known as puquios, to irrigate their crops in a desert environment where water was incredibly scarce. Picture a network of spiraling, stone-lined tunnels that tapped into underground water sources, bringing life-giving water to their arid fields. Constructing these sophisticated systems required an intimate understanding of hydrology, geology, and civil engineering, allowing them to sustain large populations and cultivate crops like cotton, maize, and beans in an otherwise unforgiving landscape. This ingenious water management system not only ensured their survival, but also highlights their remarkable ingenuity and adaptability in the face of extreme environmental challenges, demonstrating a profound relationship with their land and its resources. The Nazca culture's profound artistic and engineering achievements, coupled with their unique relationship with their challenging environment, certainly deserve greater recognition. Their ability to not only survive but thrive and create such enduring legacies in such a harsh climate speaks volumes about their resilience and intelligence. It prompts us to consider how their unique environmental pressures shaped their cultural development, pushing them to innovate in ways that few other civilizations did. Their story reminds us that human ingenuity is often born out of necessity, and that even in the most desolate landscapes, complex and vibrant societies can flourish. Moving from the desert art and ingenious water management of the Nazca, we now shift our focus thousands of miles east to a formidable mountain kingdom that defied some of the most dominant empires of its time, the Kingdom of Urartu. Nestled in the rugged highlands of eastern Anatolia, specifically around the shimmering expanse of Lake Van, Urartu rose to prominence as a powerful rival to the mighty Assyrian Empire from the 9th to the 6th centuries before the Common Era. This was a period of intense geopolitical struggle in the Near East, and yet, amid the clashes of titans, Urartu carved out a distinct and enduring presence. They weren't just survivors, they were innovators who left a remarkable imprint on the region, despite their story often being relegated to a mere footnote in broader historical narratives. One of the most striking aspects of Urartu was their exceptional mastery of metallurgy. These weren't just skilled artisans, they were pioneers in working with metals, producing intricate bronzes that showcased a refined aesthetic and advanced technical prowess. Think of their ornate cauldrons, ceremonial shields, and decorative plaques, often adorned with mythological figures and animal motifs, which demonstrate a level of craftsmanship that rivaled, and in some cases surpassed, their contemporaries. Even more significantly, they were at the forefront of advanced iron weaponry. While many civilizations were still relying heavily on bronze, Urartu was forging stronger, more durable iron tools and weapons, giving them a distinct military advantage over their adversaries. This innovation in metal production wasn't just for warfare. It permeated their everyday lives and contributed significantly to their economic power and cultural identity. It's fascinating to consider how this sophisticated control over resources and technology allowed them to stand their ground against much larger and seemingly more powerful empires. Beyond their metallurgical prowess, the Eurasians were also brilliant engineers and architects. They constructed formidable fortresses perched atop strategic mountain peaks, designed not just for defense but as imposing symbols of their power and control. These citadels, with their massive stone walls and complex layouts, were often built directly into the natural landscape, making them incredibly difficult to besiege. But their engineering genius extended beyond military fortifications. They also developed sophisticated irrigation systems that allowed them to cultivate crops and sustain their populations in challenging mountainous terrain. Imagine elaborate networks of canals and reservoirs, channeling precious water from mountain springs to their agricultural lands, a testament to their deep understanding of hydrology and their ability to manipulate the environment to their advantage. These systems were crucial for their survival and demonstrated an adaptive ingenuity that is truly commendable. What truly set Urartu apart was its unique cultural identity. They developed their own distinctive cuneiform script, adapting the Assyrian writing system to suit their own language, which further cemented their independent cultural expression. Their architectural style, characterized by monumental stone constructions and intricate relief carvings, also had a unique flair that differentiated it from their Mesopotamian neighbors. It's important to reflect on how this mountain kingdom, despite constantly being engaged in conflicts with larger empires like Assyria, managed to preserve and even flourish with such a distinct identity. Their mountainous terrain wasn't just a challenge, it was a strategic advantage, providing natural defenses and allowing them to control vital trade routes that snaked through the highlands. This rugged landscape fostered a resilient, self-reliant culture that consistently resisted assimilation and contributed significantly to regional innovations in both metallurgy and engineering, proving that even a smaller kingdom could exert immense influence on the ancient world. Moving now from the rugged highlands of Urartu, we travel south along the mighty Nile River to discover an equally formidable, yet often overlooked power, the Kingdom of Kerma. For over a full millennium, stretching from around 2,500 to 1,500 years before the Common Era, Kerma in ancient Nubia stood as a dominant force, not just surviving but thriving contemporaneously with the powerful Middle and New Kingdoms of Egypt. While Egyptian pharaohs gazed north to the Mediterranean, southwards lay a sophisticated rival that commanded vast territories and resources. Kerma wasn't merely a small kingdom. It was a regional superpower that profoundly shaped the history of northeastern Africa. One of Kerma's most striking achievements was its monumental architecture, particularly its mud brick temples known as defufas. These colossal structures, some reaching multiple stories high, were not mere buildings but towering symbols of Kerma's centralized power and spiritual beliefs. Imagine these massive, reddish-brown fortresses rising majestically from the desert landscape, serving as both religious centers and perhaps even royal residences. The Western Defufa, in particular with its intricate internal passages and courtyards, suggests a highly organized society capable of mobilizing immense labor and resources for construction projects on a scale that rivaled, and perhaps even inspired, some of Egypt's grand endeavors. These structures weren't just impressive, they were expressions of Kerma's unique architectural vision and its enduring legacy. Beyond their architectural prowess, the people of Kerma were masters of trade and possessed a remarkably rich and distinctive material culture. They controlled vital trade routes that funneled gold, ivory, exotic animals, and precious timbers from the heart of Africa, northwards into Egypt and beyond. This extensive trade network fueled their economic power and allowed them to accumulate immense wealth. Evidence of this wealth and their artistic skill can be seen in their exquisite pottery, known for its thin walls, polished surfaces, and distinctive black-topped red ware. Furthermore, their intricate jewelry, often fashioned from gold and semi-precious stones, showcases a sophisticated aesthetic and advanced metallurgical techniques that were uniquely Kermatic. This vibrant material culture speaks volumes about their highly developed society and their deep connections with neighboring regions. Perhaps most remarkably, Kerma's ability to maintain its independence and even challenge Egyptian hegemony for centuries underscores its significant military and economic strength. Unlike many smaller states that were eventually subsumed by the burgeoning Egyptian empire, Kerma consistently stood its ground, engaging in both trade and conflict with its dominant northern neighbor. There were periods when Kerma even launched successful military campaigns into Egyptian territory, highlighting its formidable army and strategic capabilities. It's truly fascinating to consider how their unique political structure, possibly a highly centralized monarchy with strong regional control, combined with their astute management of vital resources like gold and trade routes, allowed them to thrive independently alongside such a powerful and expansionist neighbor. Further insight into Kerma's societal values comes from their elaborate burial practices. The royal tumuli, or burial mounds at Kerma, are among the largest and most complex ever discovered in ancient Africa. These massive mounds contained not only the remains of the deceased ruler, but also numerous human sacrifices and vast quantities of grave goods, including intricate weaponry, pottery, and jewelry. This practice, while appearing stark from a modern perspective, reveals a society with profound spiritual beliefs, a strict social hierarchy, and a deep reverence for their leaders. The sheer scale of these burials suggests a society that believed in a powerful afterlife and invested heavily in ensuring the prosperity of their rulers in the next world, reflecting a unique blend of spiritual devotion and social stratification that set Kerma apart. Moving across continents and oceans, we journey next to Mesoamerica, where another foundational society silently laid the groundwork for future empires, the Olmec Civilization. Often referred to as the mother culture of Mesoamerica, the Olmec flourished from approximately 1,400 to 400 years before the Common Era. They were the original innovators whose ideas and practices directly influenced civilizations that came much later, like the Maya and the Aztecs. Imagine a time before these more famous cultures existed, when the Olmec were already shaping the very essence of what Mesoamerican civilization would become. Their impact on everything from art and architecture to religion and social structure was truly profound, making it surprising how often their achievements are overshadowed. One of the most instantly recognizable and perhaps most enigmatic legacies of the Olmec are their colossal basalt heads. These massive sculptures, carved from single boulders, sometimes weighing over 40 tons, depict stern, helmeted faces that stare out across the millennia. The sheer scale and craftsmanship required to quarry, transport, and carve these immense stones, often from quarries miles away, speaks volumes about the Olmecs' advanced engineering capabilities and their ability to organize vast labor forces. Each head is unique, possibly representing individual rulers or important figures, suggesting a sophisticated political structure and a deep veneration for leadership. But beyond their impressive size, these heads also hint at the incredible artistic skill and symbolic thought that characterized Olmec society, prompting us to wonder about the power and meaning embedded in these monumental portraits. Beyond these iconic heads, the Olmec were pioneers in many other critical areas, including the development of a complex calendar system. While the Maya are famously associated with their intricate calendars, it was the Olmec who often laid the initial intellectual groundwork for these time-keeping innovations. Their understanding of celestial cycles and mathematical principles was remarkably sophisticated for their era, allowing them to track significant astronomical events and agricultural seasons. Furthermore, they were some of the earliest practitioners of monumental sculpture, not just in their colossal heads but also in stelae, altars, and intricate figurines that adorned their ceremonial centers. These large-scale artworks were not merely decorative, they conveyed complex narratives, religious beliefs, and political messages, serving as public statements of power and cosmology. The Olmec also distinguished themselves as early urban planners. Sites like San Lorenzo and La Venta were not just clusters of dwellings but carefully organized ceremonial and residential complexes, featuring large earthen mounds, courtyards, and drainage systems. This foresight in urban design reflects a society with a clear vision for community and a capacity for long-term planning. Their innovations in writing, though not fully deciphered, suggest that they were among the first in Mesoamerica to develop a system for recording information, a crucial step in the evolution of complex societies. Additionally, the ritual ball game, a pervasive cultural practice throughout Mesoamerica, is believed to have originated with the Olmec. This game, often played in specialized courts and imbued with deep religious and symbolic meaning, was far more than just a sport. It was a ritualistic reenactment of cosmic struggles and a central element of their spiritual life. Perhaps what is most fascinating about the Olmec is how their early advancements diffused across the region, profoundly shaping the spiritual and artistic landscapes of an entire continent. Their distinctive religious iconography, featuring jaguar human composites, feathered serpents, and other powerful deities, became foundational symbols for subsequent Mesoamerican cultures. Concepts like the world tree, the sacred mountain, and the importance of maize as a divine gift all find early expression in Olmec art and religious practice. This pervasive influence wasn't necessarily through conquest but through a powerful cultural rayonnement, where ideas, artistic styles, and spiritual beliefs were adopted and adapted by neighboring and later societies. Understanding the Olmec means recognizing them as the intellectual and spiritual wellspring from which much of Mesoamerican civilization flowed, prompting us to consider what their unique and powerful art tells us about their world, and how it served as a means of communicating profound spiritual and political messages that transcended linguistic and cultural boundaries. Their visual language, so rich in symbolism, offers a window into a belief system that valued the interconnectedness of the human, natural, and divine worlds. Moving from the sophisticated artistry of Mesoamerica to the vibrant lands of southern Africa, we encounter the next remarkable civilization on our list, the Kingdom of Mapungubwe. Flourishing between 1075 and 1220 years after the Common Era, Mapungubwe stands as a profound testament to pre-colonial African sophistication, predating the more widely known Great Zimbabwe. This was no mere collection of settlements. It was a complex state, one of the earliest known examples of a class-based society in the region, where a distinct social hierarchy was evident in everything from burial practices to urban planning. The very structure of their capital, with its elite residential areas atop the hill and commoner dwellings below, visually conveyed their societal organization. What truly set Mapungubwe apart was its extraordinary wealth and the ingenious ways in which its people harnessed resources and networks. They were renowned for their exquisite gold craftsmanship, creating delicate and intricate objects that speak to a profound artistic sensibility and advanced metallurgical skills. The iconic golden rhinoceros of Mapungubwe, a small but perfectly formed sculpture made of thin gold foil over a wooden core, is perhaps the most famous example of this artistry. Its discovery was not just an archaeological find. It was a powerful symbol challenging long-held colonial narratives that denied the existence of sophisticated indigenous African civilizations. This golden artifact, along with other gold and ivory pieces found at the site, represents a society that valued beauty, status, and material wealth, reflecting a mastery of precious materials. Mapungubwe's prosperity wasn't solely based on local resources. It was deeply intertwined with extensive and far-reaching trade networks that crisscrossed the African continent and extended across oceans. Their strategic location, nestled at the confluence of the Limpopo and Shash rivers, positioned them perfectly to control key trade routes linking the interior of southern Africa with the East African coast. They were instrumental in the trade of gold, ivory, and animal hides, exchanging these valuable commodities for luxury goods from distant lands. Archaeological evidence reveals a fascinating array of imported items, including glass beads from India and porcelain shards from China, underscoring the vast global connections Mapungubwe maintained. This control over lucrative trade routes not only contributed to their immense wealth, but also fostered a vibrant exchange of ideas and technologies, enriching their own culture and influencing neighboring societies. Considering Mapungubwe's advanced social organization, artistic prowess, and extensive international trade links, it becomes perplexing why this powerful trading kingdom remains relatively unknown to many. Its story often gets marginalized in global historical narratives, overshadowed by more Eurocentric accounts or even by later African kingdoms. However, understanding Mapungubwe is crucial for a complete picture of human history, as it demonstrates that complex, stratified societies with sophisticated economies thrived in southern Africa centuries before European colonization. Their unique blend of political power, economic control, and cultural expression offers invaluable insights into the diverse paths of human development. The strategic advantage of their geographical position allowed them to become a central hub of commerce, influencing the flow of goods and ideas across a vast region, thereby cementing their place as a pivotal, yet often overlooked, player in the ancient world. Moving from the vibrant markets and complex social structures of southern Africa, we now journey across continents to the northern coast of Peru, where the Sican culture emerged and thrived. Flourishing approximately from the year 750 to the year 1375 of the Common Era, the Sican people became the inheritors and innovators, building upon the foundations laid by the earlier Moche civilization. What truly distinguished the Sican was their unparalleled mastery of metallurgy, particularly in the working of precious metals like gold and silver. This was not merely about crafting beautiful objects. It was a profound expression of their sophisticated worldview, their social hierarchy, and their deep religious beliefs. Imagine the glint of gold transformed by human hands into objects of breathtaking beauty and spiritual significance. The Sican artisans were exceptional, pioneering techniques that allowed them to create intricate masks, elaborate headdresses, and ceremonial tumis or knives, often adorned with anthropomorphic or zoomorphic figures. These weren't simply decorative items, they were central to their spiritual practices and were frequently interred in elaborate burial sites. These tombs, often discovered with the deceased adorned in these golden treasures, serve as a window into a rich spiritual life, revealing a belief in an afterlife and a profound connection between their earthly existence and the cosmic realm. The sheer quantity and artistic complexity of these metal artifacts indicate a society that commanded significant wealth and dedicated immense resources to their religious and funerary rites, reflecting a highly skilled artisan class supported by a powerful elite. Beyond their artistic achievements, the Sican demonstrated a remarkable understanding of their challenging environment. They inherited and further developed advanced irrigation systems, transforming the arid coastal landscapes into fertile agricultural areas. This feat of environmental mastery allowed them to sustain a large population and generate the agricultural surplus necessary to support their specialized artisans and elaborate ceremonial life. Their ingenious canal networks and reservoirs were not just engineering marvels, they represented a deep knowledge of hydrology and a long-term commitment to resource management, ensuring their civilization's survival and prosperity in a region where water was a precious commodity. This blend of spiritual beliefs, artistic expression, and environmental ingenuity offers a compelling narrative that, sadly, is often overshadowed by the later and more widely known Inca history. Their intricate gold and silver work, for example, often depicted figures believed to be deities or powerful ancestors, showcasing a profound connection between their material culture and their religious cosmology. The very act of burying these precious items with their elite reflected a societal structure where status and spiritual authority were intertwined, and where the transition to the afterlife was marked by opulence and reverence. Understanding the Sican culture compels us to explore how their sophisticated metallurgy wasn't just a technological achievement, but a fundamental reflection of their social hierarchy and religious beliefs, providing a rare glimpse into the spiritual and organizational heart of a truly remarkable civilization. Leaving behind the artistic and engineering marvels of the Sican, we now sweep eastward to the vast expanse of the Eurasian steppe, where a different kind of power flourished, the Xiongnu Empire. From the 3rd century before the Common Era to the 1st century of the Common Era, the Xiongnu were far more than just a collection of nomadic tribes. They were a formidable confederation that fundamentally reshaped the geopolitical landscape of East Asia, profoundly influencing the mighty Han dynasty of China. Often, history books simplify them, portraying them as mere barbarians at the gates, a relentless menace to settled agricultural societies. But this narrative misses the extraordinary complexity and sophistication of the Xiongnu as a civilization. The Xiongnu developed a highly effective and sophisticated military organization. Their mastery of horsemanship was legendary, allowing them unparalleled speed, maneuverability, and striking power across the vast steppes. They weren't just skilled individual riders, They understood coordinated cavalry tactics, employing feigned retreats, encirclement maneuvers, and rapid hit-and-run attacks that bewildered and frustrated their more conventional Han adversaries. This military prowess wasn't born from chaos. It was the result of a disciplined structure, perhaps even a proto-feudal system, with a clear hierarchy and efficient command and control. Their military innovations forced China to respond in kind, influencing the evolution of Chinese cavalry and even impacting the very design and construction of the Great Wall, which was built in large part as a direct defense against Xiongnu incursions. The wall itself is a testament to the persistent and significant threat they posed. Beyond their military might, the Xiongnu were astute practitioners of diplomacy and statecraft. They weren't simply raiders. They engaged in complex treaties, tribute systems, and strategic marriages with the Han court, often playing the Han against various internal factions or other nomadic groups. Their leaders, known as Chanyas, maintained a vast network of alliances and exercised considerable political authority over a sprawling territory. This level of organization and strategic thinking belies the common perception of them as unsophisticated. They managed a multi-ethnic empire, integrating diverse peoples under their rule, which required considerable administrative skill and adaptability. They were also agents of cultural exchange, facilitating the movement of goods, ideas, and technologies across the Silk Road long before many fixed empires gained prominence. Their impact on East Asian history cannot be overstated. The Xiongnu provided a crucial counter-narrative to the traditional views of settled empires as the sole drivers of progress. They demonstrated that a nomadic society could achieve empire-scale organization, maintain political stability, and exert profound influence over settled civilizations. Their distinct culture, with its rich oral traditions, unique spiritual beliefs, and sophisticated craftsmanship, particularly in metalwork and textiles, adds further layers to their complexity. Understanding the Xiongnu challenges us to look beyond simplistic labels and recognize their profound contributions to state formation, military innovation, and the broad sweep of Eurasian history. Their story urges us to consider the flexibility and power of nomadic empires and how their mobility and adaptability allowed them to dominate such a vast, diverse territory for centuries. Moving from the sweeping plains where the Xiongnu reigned, we shift our focus to an equally impressive, yet often overshadowed, civilization that flourished on the northern coast of Peru, the Mach. Imagine an arid landscape between 100 and 800 Common Era transformed by human ingenuity, supporting a vibrant and sophisticated culture. The Mach were truly exceptional, not just for their resilience in a challenging environment, but for their remarkable artistic and engineering prowess. What truly sets the Mach apart is their mastery of ceramic art. Unlike many ancient cultures that produced stylized or abstract representations, the Mach created some of the most vibrant, realistic, and emotionally resonant pottery in the entire ancient world. Their ceramics weren't just functional, they were a profound window into their society. You can see their daily life depicted with incredible detail. Farmers tending their fields, fishermen casting their nets, merchants trading goods. But their art also delved deep into the complexities of human emotion, capturing joy, sorrow, anger, and contemplation with an almost unsettling realism. Their potters also chronicled their rituals, their spiritual beliefs, and even scenes of warfare, providing historians with an invaluable visual archive of a long-vanished civilization. These pieces are not merely decorative, they are narratives telling stories through clay that illuminate their understanding of the human condition and their intricate social structures. Beyond their artistic brilliance, the Mach were also extraordinary engineers. they transformed their coastal desert environment into fertile agricultural land through an extensive and sophisticated network of irrigation canals. This wasn't simple ditch digging. It involved complex hydrological planning, diverting water from rivers and channeling it across vast distances to sustain their crops. This mastery of water management was essential for supporting a large and thriving population in a region that would otherwise be barren. Their ability to harness natural resources in such an advanced way speaks volumes about their organizational capabilities and their deep understanding of their ecosystem. The Moche also left behind monumental architectural achievements, most notably the Huacas del Sol y de la Luna, or the temples of the sun and the moon. These massive adobe pyramids were among the largest ancient structures in the Americas, towering over the landscape and serving as powerful centers for both religious ceremony and political administration. The sheer scale of these constructions required immense labor and sophisticated planning, showcasing a highly organized society with a centralized authority capable of mobilizing thousands to achieve grand communal projects. These huacas were not just buildings, they were sacred spaces, focal points for their spiritual life and expressions of their power. Despite their incredible artistic brilliance, their sophisticated social structures, and their monumental engineering feats, the Moche are often overshadowed by the later, more widely known Inca Empire. Yet, their achievements provided crucial foundations for subsequent Andean cultures. Exploring the Moche offers us a unique opportunity to appreciate a civilization that communicated complex ideas through art, sustained a large population through innovative agriculture, and built awe-inspiring structures, all while offering profound insights into the nuances of human emotion and societal organization through their captivating artwork. Moving across continents and oceans, we arrive at the Kingdom of Dvaravati, a civilization that from the 6th to the 11th centuries Common Era flourished in what is now central Thailand. This wasn't merely another regional power. Dvaravati played a pivotal and often unsung role as a crucial intermediary for the spread of Theravada Buddhism from its origins in India across the vast expanse of Southeast Asia. Imagine the dynamic exchange of ideas, texts, and practices flowing through its urban centers, transforming the spiritual landscape of an entire region. Dvaravati's profound impact on the religious and artistic character of later Thai states, and indeed much of mainland Southeast Asia, is undeniable, yet its narrative is often overshadowed in broader historical accounts. What truly makes Dvaravati remarkable is its distinct artistic legacy, deeply entwined with its religious devotion. The artisans of Dvaravati produced some of the most striking and influential Buddhist art of their time. They created large, serene Buddha images that conveyed a sense of transcendent calm and inner peace, often characterized by a specific style of facial features and monastic robes that became iconic. These impressive sculptures were not just decorative, they served as powerful symbols of faith, inspiring devotion and shaping the visual language of Buddhism throughout the region. Beyond monumental statues, they also crafted intricate Dharma wheels, symbols representing the Buddha's teachings and the cyclical nature of existence. These wheels, often adorned with elaborate carvings, underscore the kingdom's deep engagement with Buddhist philosophy and its commitment to disseminating these teachings. The very presence of these artistic forms across the landscape of central Thailand speaks volumes about the pervasive influence of Dvaravati culture. The urban centers of Dvaravati were not just spiritual hubs, they were also remarkably well planned, reflecting a sophisticated understanding of infrastructure and community organization. Archaeological discoveries reveal settlements with clear layouts, defensive structures, and evidence of economic activity, suggesting a stable and prosperous society that supported its artistic and religious endeavors. These were not temporary encampments but permanent, thriving communities that facilitated trade, intellectual exchange, and the daily practice of Buddhism. The meticulous planning of these cities allowed for the efficient flow of people and goods, creating environments conducive to both spiritual contemplation and economic growth. We should deeply consider how this early Buddhist kingdom's cultural influence laid the spiritual groundwork for later Thai states. Before the rise of more famous empires, Dvaravati established a strong foundation of Theravada Buddhism that permeated society, becoming an intrinsic part of the region's identity. The teachings, artistic styles, and ethical frameworks propagated by Dvaravati became deeply embedded, shaping the political structures, social norms, and personal beliefs of subsequent generations. Its role was not simply to pass on religious ideas but to adapt and localize them, creating a distinct Southeast Asian interpretation of Buddhism that would endure for centuries. The unique art produced by Dvaravati provides a direct window into this religious devotion, showing how their faith was expressed through tangible beauty, influencing countless artists and believers who came after them. It prompts us to recognize that some of the most profound historical legacies are often those that shape the very soul and identity of a region, even if the names of their architects are not always widely known. Moving from the settled kingdoms of Southeast Asia, we now turn our gaze to the vast, windswept plains of Eurasia, where the 18th underrated civilization, the Scythians, galloped across history. From the 9th to the 2nd centuries before the Common Era, these nomadic warriors weren't just a collection of tribes. They forged a formidable power that dominated the Eurasian steppes, leaving an indelible mark on the ancient world. They are justly renowned for their unparalleled equestrian skills, which transformed warfare and transportation, allowing them to control immense territories and conduct lightning-fast raids. But their legacy extends far beyond military prowess. They were also masters of intricate gold craftsmanship, creating breathtaking artifacts that reveal a society with a rich spiritual life and advanced metallurgical techniques. Their artistry is perhaps best preserved in the Kurgan burial mounds scattered across the steppe, subterranean chambers filled with treasures that offer a window into their world. Here, you'll find what is known as Scythian animal-style art, a distinctive and vibrant aesthetic characterized by highly stylized depictions of animals, often intertwined or engaged in fierce combat. Lions, stags, griffins, and boars rendered in gold, bronze, and iron adorned everything from weapons and horse tack to jewelry and ceremonial objects. This art wasn't merely decorative, it was imbued with deep symbolic meaning, reflecting their spiritual beliefs, their connection to the natural world, and their perception of power and strength. The sophistication of their metalworking, particularly in gold, was truly extraordinary for its time, showcasing techniques that allowed for incredibly detailed and dynamic compositions. The Scythians were not isolated. Their sheer geographic reach meant they constantly interacted with the great settled empires of their era, including the Greeks, the Persians, and even the distant Chinese. These interactions were multifaceted, involving trade, diplomacy, and often fierce conflict. For the Greeks, the Scythians were both fearsome adversaries and exotic trading partners, supplying gold, furs, and grain in exchange for wine and manufactured goods. Persian kings like Darius I launched massive campaigns against them, only to be frustrated by the Scythians' elusive hit-and-run tactics, which were perfectly adapted to the steppe environment. Along the Silk Road, they facilitated the exchange of goods and ideas between East and West, influencing the military tactics and artistic styles of civilizations far from their homeland. Their mastery of horseback riding was undeniably the cornerstone of their vast territorial control. Unlike infantry-based armies, the Scythians could cover enormous distances rapidly, appearing seemingly out of nowhere to strike and then vanishing back into the steppe. Every Scythian man was a rider and an archer from a young age, leading to a highly mobile and flexible fighting force. This mobility also enabled their extensive trade networks, allowing them to transport goods across vast distances and exploit diverse resources. They essentially created a dynamic, mobile empire that challenged the conventional notions of what a powerful state could be, demonstrating that sophisticated societal organization and military might were not exclusive to settled agricultural civilizations. Their enduring legacy, though often relegated to the peripheries of classical history in favor of their more famous neighbors, offers a compelling glimpse into the dynamism of nomadic empires, whose profound impact on trade, warfare, and cultural exchange reverberated across the ancient world. Moving from the dynamic nomadic empires of the steppes, we now journey to a place shrouded in tantalizing mystery, a kingdom known primarily through the accounts of one of the greatest civilizations of the ancient world, the Kingdom of Punt. This ancient trading partner of Egypt, flourishing from at least 2500 before the Common Era, remains one of history's most captivating enigmas, its precise location still a subject of intense debate among archaeologists and historians. While commonly believed to be situated somewhere in the Horn of Africa, perhaps along the coasts of modern-day Eritrea, Djibouti, or Somalia, no definitive archaeological site has yet been unequivocally identified as Punt itself. This absence of concrete physical remains only deepens its allure, transforming it into a legendary land of immense wealth and exotic goods. For the pharaohs of Egypt, Punt was nothing short of a paradise, a coveted source of incredibly valuable commodities that fueled their religious rituals, adorned their palaces, and enriched their daily lives. Primary treasures sought from Punt were frankincense and myrrh, aromatic resins so precious they were considered divine gifts. These were essential for religious ceremonies, mummification, and perfume production across ancient Egypt. Beyond these fragrant resins, Punt supplied an array of exotic wonders: glistening gold, rare ebony wood, fragrant incense trees, ivory, animal skins like leopard and giraffe, and even live exotic animals such as monkeys and baboons for the royal menageries. These goods were not merely luxuries, they were vital components of Egypt's ceremonial, economic, and spiritual life, making Punt an indispensable trade partner. The frequent and consistent mention of Punt in ancient Egyptian records, particularly tomb inscriptions and temple reliefs, underscores its profound economic and cultural impact on one of the ancient world's superpowers. Perhaps the most famous expedition to Punt was commissioned by the female pharaoh Hatshepsut around 1500 before the Common Era. Her mortuary temple at Deir el-Bahari features detailed reliefs depicting the journey, showing large Egyptian ships loaded with trade goods heading for Punt and returning laden with its treasures. These vivid portrayals capture not only the exotic nature of Punt, but also highlight the sophisticated maritime capabilities required for such long-distance voyages. The depictions include Puntite houses built on stilts, local flora, and the appearance of the Puntite people themselves, offering tantalizing clues about this elusive land. Despite its undeniable significance and detailed depiction in Egyptian art, the elusive nature of Punt's archaeological footprint makes us wonder why such a crucial trading empire has so successfully eluded definitive identification. Is it possible that the environmental shifts over millennia have buried its remnants, or perhaps its settlements were primarily ephemeral, designed for trade rather than permanent habitation? The secrets held by its still undiscovered history could unlock a wealth of knowledge about ancient trade networks, the early history of the Horn of Africa, and the full extent of maritime exploration in the Bronze Age. The continued quest to locate Punt is more than an archaeological puzzle. It's a pursuit of a missing piece of the ancient global economic puzzle, prompting us to imagine what new narratives about intercontinental connections and early African civilizations might emerge if this legendary land were finally found. Stepping out of the ancient trade routes of Punt, we now journey to the heart of southern Africa to uncover the story of Great Zimbabwe. Flourishing from the 11th to the 15th centuries of the Common Era, this remarkable civilization stands as a powerful testament to sophisticated pre-colonial African architecture and social organization. Imagine a sprawling city, the capital of a powerful kingdom, defined by massive dry stone walls constructed entirely without mortar, that enclosed a thriving urban center. These monumental structures, some reaching heights of over 30 feet and extending for hundreds of yards, were not merely defensive. They were expressions of power, wealth, and spiritual significance. The sheer scale and precision of their construction, particularly the famous Great Enclosure with its enigmatic conical tower, showcase an advanced understanding of engineering and masonry that continues to baffle and impress modern architects. Great Zimbabwe was more than just an architectural marvel. It was the hub of an expansive and lucrative trade network that stretched across vast distances. This kingdom controlled extensive gold and ivory trade routes, connecting the rich interior of southern Africa with the coastal Swahili trading towns, and from there, reaching as far as India and even China. Evidence of this international commerce is abundant, with archaeological finds including Persian ceramics, Chinese celadon pottery, and Arabian glass beads, all unearthed within its walls. This vast network of exchange brought immense wealth into the kingdom, supporting a complex social hierarchy and funding the construction of its iconic stone structures. The control over such vital commodities and the ability to maintain these long-distance trade relationships speak volumes about Great Zimbabwe's political stability, administrative efficiency, and diplomatic prowess. The complexity of Great Zimbabwe's society is reflected in its unique urban planning and social stratification. Within the meticulously constructed stone enclosures lived the elite, the rulers, priests, and their close associates, while outside, in less permanent structures, resided the majority of the population. This spatial arrangement suggests a highly organized society with clear distinctions in status and function. Beyond its economic and architectural achievements, Great Zimbabwe possessed a rich spiritual and cultural life, symbolized by the enigmatic soapstone birds discovered at the site, which are believed to represent the national emblem and serve as guardians. These artifacts, along with the precise alignment of certain structures with celestial events, hint at a sophisticated understanding of astrology and a deep connection to their environment. Tragically, the legacy of Great Zimbabwe was deliberately suppressed and distorted for far too long, particularly during the colonial era. European settlers, unwilling to acknowledge the advanced capabilities of indigenous African societies, attributed its construction to foreign civilizations, ranging from Phoenicians to Arabs, or even the Queen of Sheba, rather than acknowledging its true African origins. This narrative not only denied the ingenuity and achievements of the Shona people, the builders of Great Zimbabwe, but also served to justify colonial subjugation. It's critical to appreciate how this indigenous empire demonstrated advanced social organization, engineering, and economic prowess, challenging deeply ingrained biases about African history. Understanding Great Zimbabwe is not just about appreciating ancient ruins. It's about reclaiming a narrative of African achievement and recognizing the profound contributions of a civilization that stood as a beacon of power and sophistication in its time. Moving from the grand stone structures of Great Zimbabwe, we journey now to the ancient Near East, specifically to northeastern Syria, to uncover the story of the kingdom of Urkesh. Flourishing from the 4th to the 2nd millennia before the Common Era, Urkesh emerged as a significant Hurrian city-state, standing as a contemporary to the powerful Sumerian and Akkadian empires. While often eclipsed by its more famous neighbors in mainstream historical accounts, Urkesh was far from a minor player. It was a vibrant center of innovation, deeply influencing the cultural and economic landscape of the region. Urkesh was particularly renowned for its advancements in early metallurgy. Imagine skilled artisans working with copper and bronze, forging not just tools and weapons, but also intricate works of art that showcased a distinctive Hurrian aesthetic. They developed sophisticated techniques for smelting and casting, contributing significantly to the technological progress of the ancient world. But their brilliance wasn't limited to metalwork. The kingdom also cultivated unique artistic styles that set it apart, characterized by a blend of Mesopotamian and Anatolian influences, yet possessing a clear Hurrian identity. This artistic expression extended to their religious practices and architectural designs, which included impressive temple structures built to honor their gods. The most notable example is the monumental temple dedicated to the earth god Kumarbi, a testament to their engineering capabilities and spiritual depth. What truly made Urkesh unique was its strategic position as a Hurrian power, effectively mediating between the dominant cultural spheres of Mesopotamia to the south and Anatolia to the north. This geographical and political advantage made it a vital cultural and economic hub. Goods, ideas, and people flowed through Urkesh, allowing it to absorb and adapt diverse influences, while simultaneously projecting its own distinctive culture onto the surrounding regions. This role as a bridge allowed Urkesh to thrive, accumulating wealth and fostering intellectual exchange. However, despite its independent contributions to ancient Near Eastern cultural exchanges and its pivotal role in early urban development, Urkesh's story is often overshadowed. Its narrative lacks the sweeping conquests of Akkad or the monumental scale of the Sumerian city-states in popular history. Yet, its influence on later regional powers, particularly in the spread of Hurrian language, religion, and artistic motifs, cannot be overstated. We should recognize that Urkesh was not merely a recipient of cultural influences but an active contributor, shaping the very fabric of the ancient Near East. The insights gleaned from its archaeological remains, like the discovery of the earliest known full-length cuneiform text in the Hurrian language, unveil a complex society with its own distinct identity and achievements, urging us to look beyond conventional narratives and appreciate the rich tapestry of ancient civilizations. Moving from the landlocked innovations of Urkesh, our journey now takes us to a seafaring civilization, the Kingdom of Dilmun, nestled strategically on what is now Bahrain and parts of eastern Saudi Arabia. Picture a powerful maritime trading hub that flourished for over 2,000 years, from the 3rd to the 1st millennia before the Common Era. Dilmun was the silent, yet indispensable, bridge connecting the mighty empires of Mesopotamia with the distant and mysterious Indus Valley civilization. Its location was not just convenient, it was absolutely crucial, transforming it into a linchpin of ancient global commerce. In Sumerian myths, Dilmun was often spoken of in almost mythical terms, a sacred and pure land, blessed with abundant fresh water, a precious commodity in the arid region, and renowned for its gleaming pearls. Imagine the bustling ports, alive with ships laden with goods from far-flung lands, timber, copper, and textiles flowing from the east, and finished goods, grain, and silver arriving from the west. Dilmun's merchants, skilled navigators, and shrewd traders facilitated this immense exchange, ensuring the smooth flow of goods that fueled the economies of some of the ancient world's greatest powers. This made it far more than just a stopping point. It was an active participant and a key economic driver, accumulating immense wealth and influence through its role as a vital intermediary. Its unique environment, an oasis in the desert sea, provided natural harbors and abundant resources that were essential for long-distance maritime trade. The fresh water was not just for drinking, it was critical for sustaining the ships and crews that traversed the vast oceans. Despite its pivotal role, Dilmun's narrative often remains understated in traditional historical accounts. It rarely receives the same historical spotlight as its more famous trading partners, Sumer or the Indus Valley. Yet, without Dilmun, the scale and scope of intercontinental trade in the Bronze Age would have been fundamentally different. Its strategic location allowed it to become a vital nexus of ancient commerce, where cultures mingled, ideas exchanged, and economies thrived based on mutual reliance. The very existence of such extensive trade networks points to a highly organized society capable of maintaining peace and order over vast distances for centuries. Further insights into Dilmun's societal structure can be gleaned from its rich burial mounds, some of the largest ancient cemeteries in the world. These thousands of grave mounds dotting the Bahraini landscape reveal a complex society with distinct social strata. While many contain simple burials, some are elaborate, multi-chambered tombs, indicating a stratified society with powerful elites. The artifacts found within these tombs, pottery, jewelry, and tools, reflect the vast trade networks Dilmun was part of, showcasing objects from both Mesopotamia and the Indus Valley, alongside unique local creations. These burial practices not only highlight their beliefs about the afterlife, but also provide tangible evidence of their wealth, their connections, and the way their society was organized from the common merchant to the ruling elite. Dilmun's story is a powerful reminder that history is not just about empires and conquests, but also about the unsung heroes of trade and diplomacy who laid the groundwork for globalization millennia ago. Moving further south from the bustling maritime trade of Dilmun, we encounter a civilization shrouded in far greater mystery, the enigmatic kingdom of Yam. Known almost exclusively through the ancient texts of Egypt, Yam was a flourishing kingdom that served as a vital source of exotic goods and a significant trading partner for the pharaohs from at least 2500 before Common Era. Imagine the Egyptian courts adorned with the rare and luxurious products that flowed from Yam: rich ebony, glistening gold, fragrant incense, and perhaps even exotic animals like panthers and giraffes. These were not mere trinkets, they were commodities that fueled the Egyptian economy, symbolized royal power, and played a crucial role in their religious rituals. The precise location of Yam remains one of archaeology's most tantalizing unsolved puzzles. Scholars and adventurers have speculated its whereabouts for centuries, with theories placing it anywhere from present-day Sudan, along the winding Nile, to regions even further afield in the heart of Africa. Despite this geographical ambiguity, Yam's repeated mention in Egyptian records, particularly in the accounts of intrepid explorers and traders like Harkuf, an old kingdom official who made 4 expeditions to Yam, leaves no doubt about its persistent economic and political importance. These records detail trade missions that involved perilous journeys, sometimes lasting months, through deserts and along rivers, highlighting the immense value the Egyptians placed on their connection with Yam. It suggests a well-organized kingdom capable of governing vast territories and managing complex trade relationships far removed from the centers of Egyptian power. The ongoing quest to locate Yam underscores how even the most tantalizing historical fragments can point to powerful, yet still hidden, civilizations. Think of the excitement, the thrill, of what it would mean to uncover a site that definitively proves to be Yam. Such a discovery could unlock a treasure trove of information about its unique cultural identity, its political structures, its relationship with its neighbors, and its own narrative of development. It forces us to wonder about the true extent of its influence, not just on Egypt, but perhaps on other emerging African societies. Was Yam a single, unified kingdom or a confederation of powerful tribes? What was its unique language, its religious practices, its artistic expressions? These are questions that continue to drive archaeologists to explore the vast, often overlooked, landscape south of Egypt. The very elusiveness of Yam reminds us that history is not a completed book, but an unfolding story, with countless chapters still waiting to be written, revealing how much of the ancient world remains veiled from our direct understanding. Leaving the tantalizing mysteries of Yam behind, we turn our gaze westward across the Atlantic to a civilization that flourished right in the heart of North America, the Mississippian culture. From around 800 to 1600 Common Era, long before European colonization, a vast and complex society emerged, stretching across what is now the central and southeastern United States. Imagine immense earth mounds, some towering over 100 feet high and covering acres of land. These weren't mere hills, they were meticulously engineered structures, serving as platforms for temples, homes for chiefs, and focal points for entire cities. The sheer scale of these constructions, like the monumental Monk's Mound at Cahokia, near modern-day St. Louis, is truly breathtaking. It's larger at its base than the Great Pyramid of Giza, a testament to the organizational power and labor capabilities of the Mississippian people. The Mississippians were master farmers, cultivating vast fields of maize, beans, and squash. This agricultural abundance allowed for the growth of dense populations and the development of sophisticated urban centers, a far cry from the nomadic, hunter-gatherer image often associated with pre-Columbian North America. Their complex agricultural practices weren't just about survival. They were the bedrock of a thriving civilization, demonstrating a profound understanding of their environment and innovative techniques for managing resources. Imagine a network of interconnected towns, each contributing to a larger economic and social system, supported by this bountiful food supply. Beyond their impressive agricultural output, the Mississippian people developed highly sophisticated pottery, often intricately decorated with stylized human figures, animals, and symbols, revealing their rich cosmology and artistic prowess. Their craftsmanship wasn't limited to utilitarian items. It was an expression of their cultural and spiritual beliefs. Alongside their artistic achievements, they built elaborate social hierarchies, with powerful chiefs presiding over stratified societies, supported by a complex religious system that often revolved around the solar cycle and agricultural fertility. These social structures were not simplistic. They involved specialized labor, political organization, and a system of governance that maintained order across wide territories. What truly sets the Mississippian culture apart, and why it's so frequently overlooked, is the fact that their advanced urban centers and monumental architecture showcase a highly organized and influential civilization that developed independently of the more famous Mesoamerican empires like the Maya or Aztecs. While those civilizations built in stone, the Mississippians built with earth, creating a landscape of monumental mounds that served as both physical and spiritual anchors for their communities. Their extensive trade networks connected distant communities, allowing for the exchange of goods like copper, shells, and obsidian, and facilitating the spread of ideas and religious practices across vast distances. It's crucial to acknowledge the sheer scale and complexity of these indigenous American societies, recognizing that sophisticated urbanism and intricate social systems thrived in North America long before the arrival of Europeans. Their ceremonial mound building shaped not only their physical landscape but also their cultural and spiritual identities, acting as sacred spaces for rituals, burials, and community gatherings, embedding their beliefs directly into the very earth beneath them. Leaving the monumental earthworks of the Mississippian cultures behind, we now journey across continents to a land steeped in myth and rich in natural resources, the Kingdom of Culture. Nestled on the eastern coast of the Black Sea, in what is now modern-day Georgia, Cultures flourished from around the 6th century before Common Era. This was no ordinary kingdom. It was a land so fabled it became the mythical destination of Jason and the Argonauts in their perilous quest for the Golden Fleece, a legend that hints at Culture's immense wealth, particularly its gold. But beyond the tales of heroes and mythical beasts, Culture was a powerhouse of its time, a rich and metal-rich kingdom with a tangible impact on the ancient world. Culture truly earned its reputation as a crossroads of cultures. Its strategic location at the intersection of Europe and Asia meant it naturally absorbed and blended various indigenous traditions with the powerful influences of its neighbors, including the sophisticated Greeks and the mighty Persian Empire. Imagine a vibrant tapestry woven from these diverse threads, creating a unique cultural identity that was both distinct and deeply interconnected with the wider ancient world. This cultural fusion wasn't just about art or philosophy, it also spurred innovation in practical fields. The Colchians were renowned for their advanced metallurgy, mastering the extraction and working of metals like copper, bronze, and of course gold. Their agricultural practices were equally sophisticated, allowing them to sustain a thriving population and support their extensive trade networks. The historical significance of Culture as both a legendary land and a prosperous trading state is often profoundly overlooked in mainstream historical accounts. Yet its abundant natural resources, especially its gold, were central to its ancient reputation and critically shaped its diplomatic relations with other powerful states. This wasn't merely about possessing wealth, it was about leveraging that wealth to establish diplomatic ties, secure trade routes, and maintain a degree of independence in a region often dominated by larger empires. The very myth of the Golden Fleece itself, which probably originated from the local practice of using sheepskins to sift for alluvial gold in rivers, underscores how deeply gold was ingrained in the Colchian identity and how it drew the attention of the outside world. It's fascinating to consider how their control over such a valuable commodity afforded them power and prestige, influencing interactions that stretched from the Aegean Sea to the heart of Persia. Venturing from the mythical riches of Culture, we now turn our gaze to the Arabian Peninsula, to a civilization whose influence spread far beyond its arid lands, the Kingdom of Saba. Thriving in ancient Yemen from around the 10th century before Common Era to the 3rd century Common Era, Saba, often known as Sheba, was far more than just a name in ancient legends. This kingdom gained immense renown not through military conquest, but through its absolute mastery of trade, particularly its control over the highly coveted frankincense and myrrh routes. These aromatic resins, essential for religious rituals, perfumes, and medicines across the ancient world, acted as the lifeblood of Saba's economy, drawing wealth and recognition from distant empires. The true genius of the Sabaeans, however, lay in their incredible engineering prowess, a feat that allowed them to sustain a powerful civilization in an otherwise challenging environment. Their most famous achievement was the Marib Dam, an astonishing monumental irrigation system that revolutionized agriculture in the region. This wasn't just a simple dam. It was a complex network of channels and sluice gates that expertly captured seasonal rainwater and distributed it across vast tracts of land, transforming previously arid landscapes into fertile oases. This hydraulic engineering marvel supported a thriving population, enabling the cultivation of crops well beyond what the natural climate would allow. The Marib Dam stands as a testament to their deep understanding of water management and their ability to harness natural resources on an unprecedented scale, providing a consistent food supply that fueled their economic and cultural growth. Indeed, the legendary Queen of Sheba, whose visit to King Solomon is recounted in ancient texts, serves as a powerful symbol of Saba's immense wealth and far-reaching influence. While the historical details of her reign remain debated, her very existence in these narratives underscores the profound respect and awe that Saba commanded in the ancient world. Her journey, laden with gold, spices, and precious stones, wasn't merely a diplomatic visit. It was an economic statement, showcasing Saba's unparalleled control over luxury goods and its sophisticated trade networks that connected the Arabian Peninsula with the Levant, Egypt, and beyond. This direct control over such precious commodities gave Saba significant leverage in international affairs, allowing them to maintain their independence and prosperity for centuries amidst powerful neighbors. It's truly remarkable how a kingdom that exerted such a profound impact on ancient global trade and demonstrated such sophisticated engineering feats often finds its story relegated to little more than a biblical footnote. Saba's mastery of hydraulic engineering wasn't simply about survival. It was the foundation of their power and allowed them to flourish by turning a hostile environment into a breadbasket. Their meticulous control over the production and distribution of precious aromatics like frankincense and myrrh didn't just bring them wealth, it cemented their global standing, making them indispensable players in the religious, social, and economic life of the ancient world. Understanding Saba means recognizing the ingenuity required to harness nature for prosperity and the strategic brilliance involved in dominating an entire luxury market. Venturing further east, our journey now takes us to a truly enigmatic civilization, one that completely reshaped our understanding of early Chinese history, the Sanxingdui culture. Discovered almost by accident in the Sichuan province of China during the 1980s, this civilization, which flourished from about 1200 to 1000 before Common Era, produced a collection of artifacts so spectacularly unique that they defied all previous archaeological classifications. We're talking about bronze objects unlike anything ever found in China, or indeed anywhere else in the world at that time. Imagine monumental human figures, some over 8 feet tall, with piercing, exaggerated eyes and long, slender bodies, or elaborate masks with haunting, otherworldly features often adorned with gold. These weren't just decorative pieces, they were expressions of a profound and distinct artistic tradition, hinting at a world view unlike any we had previously associated with ancient China. What makes Sanxingdui so profoundly important is its challenge to the long-held narrative of a singular origin for Chinese civilization, often centered around the Yellow River Basin. Before Sanxingdui, many scholars believed that Chinese culture radiated outward from a single core, but the Sanxingdui findings painted a picture of multiple, independent, yet equally sophisticated cultural centers developing simultaneously. This culture built significant walled cities, had access to advanced bronze technology, and clearly possessed a complex social and religious structure, all while maintaining a distinctive artistic style that wasn't merely a regional variation of a more dominant Central Chinese tradition. This revelation forces us to reconsider the vast complexity and incredible diversity of early Chinese history, suggesting a vibrant tapestry of interconnected yet distinct societies, each contributing to the grand narrative in its own unique way. The mystery deepens when we consider the sudden appearance and equally mysterious disappearance of this culture. Sanxingdui seemingly burst onto the scene, flourishing with an unparalleled artistic and technological brilliance, only to vanish around 1000 before Common Era, leaving behind no clear successor or explanation for its decline. Was it an environmental catastrophe, a shift in trade routes, or perhaps a conflict with neighboring peoples? The lack of textual records from Sanxingdui themselves means we are left to interpret their story through their astonishing material culture. The distinctive iconography of their bronze art, particularly the large, stylized figures and masks, likely signifies their religious beliefs and perhaps served as powerful cult objects. Their exaggerated features might represent deities, ancestors, or mythical beings, offering a rare glimpse into a spiritual world that once thrived in ancient Sichuan. Exploring Sanxingdui prompts us to embrace the idea that history is far more nuanced and multi-faceted than conventional narratives often suggest, urging us to remain open to the emergence of new evidence that can completely transform our understanding of the past. As one powerful ancient civilization faded, others often rose to take its place, carrying forward elements of its legacy. Following the decline of the mighty kingdom of Axum, which we discussed earlier for its pivotal role in African, Arabian, and Indian trade, several remarkable successor states emerged in the Horn of Africa. These kingdoms, though often entirely overlooked in broader historical narratives, were far from insignificant. They didn't just inherit territory, they continued the significant trade routes established by Axum, and perhaps even more importantly, preserved and deepened the distinctive Christian traditions that Axum had embraced. Imagine a period of profound regional upheaval, yet amidst this fragmentation, these new entities managed to maintain a vibrant cultural and religious identity. The kingdoms of Wag and Zagwe are prime examples of these resilient successor states. Wag, centered in the Lasta region, and Zagwe, which held sway from the 10th or 11th centuries through the 13th century, became custodians of Aksumite Christian heritage. They didn't just passively preserve it, they actively transformed and reinterpreted it, leaving behind some of the most astonishing architectural wonders the world has ever seen. Think of the rock-hewn churches of Lalibela, for example. Carved directly out of living rock, these 11 monolithic churches are not merely structures but profound statements of faith and engineering genius. They stand as a testament to the Zagwe dynasty's dedication to creating a New Jerusalem in Africa, reflecting a deep spiritual and artistic devotion that continues to inspire awe today. These architectural marvels also hint at a sophisticated understanding of acoustics, hydrology, and structural integrity, all achieved with relatively simple tools. Beyond their monumental religious architecture, these successor states continued to be vital players in regional trade. Their strategic location still allowed them to connect the African interior with coastal ports, facilitating the exchange of goods like gold, ivory, salt, and exotic commodities. This economic activity helped sustain their societies and allowed for continued cultural exchange with neighboring regions. Their ability to maintain stable polities and thriving economies, even as the larger Aksumite Empire receded, speaks volumes about their sophisticated governance and adaptability. Their story highlights a crucial, yet often neglected, chapter of African history, demonstrating how cultural and religious identity can be not only preserved but also flourish and evolve even amidst political fragmentation and shifting power dynamics. It urges us to recognize that history is rarely a simple narrative of rise and fall, but often a complex tapestry woven with threads of continuity and transformation. While the story of Axum's successors reveals resilience, another fascinating example of a civilization refusing to simply vanish is the Kingdom of Kerma. We've previously explored Kerma, the powerful Nubian kingdom that rivaled Egypt for centuries, but its story doesn't end with its periods of decline or even under Egyptian domination. In fact, what makes Kerma particularly underrated is its enduring legacy. Even after the collapse of its independent political power and subsequent periods of Egyptian rule, Kerma's cultural and political structures did not simply disappear. Instead, they persisted, adapted, and profoundly influenced the later Nubian kingdoms that rose in the region, like the Kingdom of Kush. This post-imperial era of Kerma showcases how a powerful civilization can demonstrate remarkable staying power, transforming rather than vanishing into thin air. Think about it, cultures like living organisms often adapt to survive. Kerma's case is a prime illustration of this historical phenomenon. Its distinct traditions, including unique burial practices and monumental architecture like the Defufa, continued to resonate within Nubian society long after Kerma as an independent political entity had ceased to be. The artistic styles, characterized by exquisite pottery and intricate jewelry that defined Kerma's golden age, didn't just fade away. They subtly re-emerged and influenced the aesthetic sensibilities of succeeding Nubian states. The very language and religious practices that characterized Kerma demonstrated a profound cultural depth, allowing them to endure, sometimes covertly, even under foreign rule. This persistence challenges the common historical narrative that once an empire falls, its entire cultural imprint is erased. Kerma proves that cultural identity can be incredibly resilient, flowing like an underground river, shaping the landscape even when not visible on the surface. This enduring influence of Kerma encourages us to look beyond the peak periods of empires and civilizations. Often, our historical lenses are focused on the monumental achievements and political power of a civilization at its zenith, overlooking the subtle yet profound ways its legacy shapes subsequent eras. The dynamic nature of historical continuity means that cultural traits, innovations, and even political ideas can be absorbed, reinterpreted, and carried forward by new societies, creating a rich tapestry of interconnectedness that defies simple chronology. Kerma's ability to maintain its distinct cultural identity and even pass it on, despite centuries of interaction with formidable neighbors like Egypt, underscores the power of cultural resilience. It reminds us that history is not just about the rise and fall of states, but also about the enduring spirit of human culture, constantly adapting and enriching the lives of those who come after. We have journeyed through millennia, uncovering 29 civilizations whose stories, though often relegated to the margins, fundamentally shaped our world. From the sophisticated urban planning of the Indus Valley to the ingenious hydraulic engineering of Saba and the captivating artistic brilliance of the Moche, these cultures were not merely footnotes but pivotal players in the grand tapestry of human history. Their innovations, their remarkable resilience in the face of adversity, and their unique societal structures challenge us to broaden our understanding of human ingenuity and recognize the profound interconnectedness of all civilizations across time and space. These narratives should inspire a deeper, richer appreciation for the incredible diversity of our past. They serve as a powerful reminder that history is not a rigid, linear timeline of isolated events, but rather a dynamic, constantly evolving story, woven together by countless threads of human experience. What other forgotten civilizations do you believe deserve more attention? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more explorations into the